I feel like a lot of people think that you're American, first of all, right? Yeah, you grew up, went to school there, and then you came to China, and now you're applying for school back in America, right? Do you think that like China years helps your application?
Yeah, I think definitely
Cool.
for me in particular it does because I want to go into school counseling and I
Right.
talk a lot about the Asian student population. And if I hadn't been in China, I don't think A, I would have realized that I want to go into school counseling, and B, I don't think I would have been wanting to focus on Asian students in particular.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because I mean, the whole like growing up, self-hatred of self-hating Chinese, like ABC, whatever.
Right.
Never did I ever think that I wanted to spend more time, especially in like academia and research, with being Asian and everything. But then being here, working with students and just kind of seeing everything that they've gone through. So I was working in like personal development, kind of coaching them to be better versions of themselves.
Right.
And that's when I really started getting into like a lot of Chinese students, like psyche, and kind of digging behind like a lot of the stereotypes that we like grow up hearing and like seeing about Chinese students. Like,
Sure.
I think part of the reason why I didn't want to be Chinese when I was younger, because in my head it was like, oh, they're like these robotic, like, studying people,
Right.
whatever. And my dad is very, very traditional. So like he was very much like a 学霸, like very, very like nerdy, like really good at school, but like not really. So
Not good at like cake parties, Yeah. But you, on the other hand, I'm kidding.
okay, Stephen. So, like, he would always compare me and my siblings to
Right.
his friends' kids, his coworkers' kids, who like all got into these Ivy Leagues and are doing great things. So in my mind, I was just like, oh, that's like the Chinese student, Asian student stereotype. And then being here and like working with Chinese students and then kind of trying to figure out, okay, like where does all this pressure come from and these expectations, and then like, how is it that they're viewing well-being versus success? And a lot of times they're not working in tandem. And like, I definitely I'm going through that myself because I've been very, very stressed and I haven't been doing all the things that I know are good for me. And that would make things better because I'm like, oh, but if I do them, then like I feel guilty or bad if I like, get enough hours of sleep or like
Right.
go and do these self-care things.
Yeah.
And I think it's much more prevalent in Asian culture.
Yeah. So, what do you? If I understand this correctly, you're trying to go back to school in America for your master's in this, right? Or
Yeah,
what
but
is it?
I mean,
Clinical degree.
my trying to get a master's, it would be most likely a master's of education
Okay.
in school counseling, but
Cool.
depending on the school and the program, they call it like different things, like
Right.
human development
Yeah.
or like counseling psychology and things
Right.
like that. I am applying to a few schools online because I want to stay in Shanghai and in China and stuff ideally, but it definitely depends on like financial aid. Depends on like what makes the most sense, what the situation in the States is next year.
Yeah, I mean, the situation in the States, who knows at this point. Hopefully it's trending in the right direction. What you just mentioned is something I find fascinating. The stigma around online schools or like online degrees or whatever, which I'm sure 20 years ago wasn't great.
Was it even possible
like
in
15 years
2000?
ago. Right. But I think technology has gotten to a point now where you can have incredibly well-informative, educative, almost probably better educational delivery online than you can do at a campus. Right? Campus is more about lifestyle and finding like-minded people and, what you like freedom in a way growing up, right? But educationally, you can absolutely do it online as well. So I really don't like that stigma.
Yeah, and I think that COVID, obviously, everything moving
Right.
online has like worked to break that down a lot.
But
'cause now
it's
people
shitty. Like, dude, I have my producer's 20. He goes to his fucking school. Like, he's doing exam season right now. He's just telling me like he has to go to class at 3 a.m. because he's in Boston still, and class is here.
Yeah, well, it makes no sense because right now, like, the system isn't built to, like, work for the convenience of it, things. But I think what I'm saying is that, like, people now are trying to find ways to, like, integrate technology into things and, like, move more things online to make it easier, more accessible, better.
That should be a job. Like, every school should have that as, like, a job.
And a lot of places are definitely, like, working on it.
That's interesting. Modernizing and digitizing school as like a service. So I'm thinking.
And I know that they're
Billion
doing
dollar
it.
idea, you know?
Well, I know that they're doing it definitely for like younger students. Like
Right.
the stuff that my siblings are able to do in school right now are like beyond, like light years beyond what we were able to do. You know?
Yeah.
So
This is we just don't. That's why. Like,
no, but it's
or
also
at least
just
I
like
was.
technology, right?
Yeah,
it was
that's
like,
true.
Like, do you remember? Did you guys have to take like a typing class in
No.
school? We had to take a typing class. I remember in middle school.
Maybe actually.
Right? It was
There
like you
like
had to
a
like
typing
learn where
test.
the you had to
Yeah,
like
maybe,
learn where the keys
yeah.
were and like figure out how to type like quickly, and it's like that obviously doesn't exist right now because
Right.
kids like grow up learning how to
Right,
do
exactly.
that.
Yeah, it's like their mother language almost. We had my German friend Junia on, and we were talking about this topic, and she said, this generation is the first generation that grows up getting their primary source of information from the internet. Because even with us, up until, for me at least, it was like, let's call it 18, right? Because prior to this, maybe like 2010 or 2005, the internet wasn't like the base source of information.
Yeah.
Now it is like the default go-to, right? And every other time before then, the go-to person of information is, you know, your parent, your teacher, your coach, your pastor, whatever. And now it's the fucking internet.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I don't remember the exact statistics, but in like 2011, 2012, they were doing a bunch of research kind of like relating technology usage and like exposure to like, you know, being online and everything with like mental health. And around that time, like 2011, 2012, when like a lot of people just like, maybe I'm getting the year wrong, but essentially there was a time when like smartphones and just like personal, just like pieces of technology were so common that like it also correlated with a sense of just overall like depression and just like people who like had more access to technology and stuff on a more daily like just basis and everything.
Right.
Essentially like rates of depression and just
Oh,
like
I'm
overall
sure.
everything.
Yeah, I'm sure
spiked.
we feel it. Like I think in a lot of ways, people like you and I, our age, we are the guinea pigs because we grew up.
Half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like we're the perfect A/B testing group. Yeah. You know, whereas like the generation after us, they're like, you know, they fucking grew up with it. Like my half sister is like 18 this year. She grew up with it. Very different. Cool, great.
Yeah.
I'm sure much more productive, but different.
Yeah. I mean, even like I feel like it was like because I have 4 younger siblings, and my sister who's like the next, I don't even know how you would say that.
Oldest?
Next oldest, yeah.
The next of age.
Yeah, I
the
remember
next to
like,
inherit the throne.
yeah, but I feel like it's only like 2 years, right?
Right.
But in that time, I remember like as they were going through middle school, I think middle school, early high school was when like everything just kind of started picking up with technology, and all of a sudden like Instagram and like all these pieces of social